We're here at the Plympton Library with John and Martha. And John, you're the president of the Historic Society, and do you have any other titles?
I'm chair of the Board of Selectmen for Plympton, and I co-chair with Martha the Genealogy Club.
Oh, and I know you have many roles here too, Martha.
Yes, I am the curator archivist at the Plympton Historical Society. As well as John said, we co-chair the Genealogy Club the fourth Saturday of the month.
Also an artist,
And an artist also,
Okay.
Professional artist and professional genealogist.
Wonderful. So tell us about Plympton and when did it become incorporated? Tell us the history.
So Plympton was originally called the Western Precinct of Plymouth. And then about 1695, it was incorporated into the precinct. And in 1707, town of Plympton was born, if you will. And it was much bigger. We're about 15 square miles, a little more. Originally, it was 45 square miles.
Oh, wow. That's a big difference.
But Carver was cut off from it. Halifax took a piece, and Kingston took a little piece. So we're 15 and been that way for a while now. The cemetery across the street is Hillcrest. That was started in 1707, one of the oldest cemeteries in the country. We have the Congregational Church behind us, which was started in 1850, and there's a cemetery behind that.
Was there a meeting house before 1850?
There were three, right, Martha?
I believe so.
Yeah, and they were on the green here. We have a green that was started in 1850, I'm sorry, no, 1702. 2 acres, and the meeting houses were literally for the church and the government.
Mm-hmm.
So in 1850, they built the first townhouse that was for government alone.
Okay.
And we'll show you that after. That's the old townhouse. And that was put down the road here, about 1.5 miles, 2 miles, and it was picked the spot because it was central to the town at that time. However, a bunch of people didn't like that. So they went up and built another one up here called Union Hall. And when you see the two of them, you'll see that they're almost identical of each other.
And they had both functioning at the same
So
time?
Union Hall became the Grange Hall.
Oh, the Grange Hall, okay.
And it was also used for dances and, but it was kind of interesting that people couldn't agree on one.
Yes, and it had the second one up here had a nickname, Spite Hall.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
So, some of the things in town, probably this town, if you looked at it, is probably most known beside Deborah Sampson, and I'll talk about that, but for its concentration of antique houses. When we take you around, I think you'll see there are so many antique houses in this town. And we also have, you're going to meet Jen and Mike later at the Mercantile. They have rehabilitated 8 houses in town.
Wow.
And some of those houses I would have sworn were going to be torn down. They were that bad.
Bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's been a great plus for us. We've been able to save houses. I hope they'll take you down to one. It's I call it the Murdoch House. So everybody, I call all the houses I've been here 55 years. So it was the Murdoch House when I came. I think it's the Black Walnut House now.
Yes, they call it the Black Walnut
Yeah,
House.
okay.
It has one of the oldest black walnut trees in the state.
Oh,
So
is it still there?
yeah,
Yes.
it's still there.
Yes.
And
Wow.
the state sends
During
out
Pilgrim times, it's well documented.
yeah,
Yeah, wow.
the state sends out foresters to look at it every year to make sure we try to keep it healthy.
Good, good.
Kind of neat.
That's cool.
This library was built in 1905. We're in the old part. The door originally was over here, and the library was as big as this room, these 2 rooms here. And then we added on. When I first came to town, you walked in and the desk was right there. And there was Mrs. Mendel sitting there. I made sure you were proper and quiet. And that's some of the history of the town. You want to add anything about that?
I know one of the additions on the library, I don't recall the woman's name, but there's a portrait of the woman at the Historical Society, the Old Town House. That, so that's a tidbit.
Turns out the cemetery probably has more descendants of the Mayflower than Burial Hill.
Ah, interesting.
So not the Mayflower passengers, but their descendants.
Yes.
There's Aldens and Standishes and Fullers, and they're all over there. And town's very small.
Yeah.
We have about just shy of 3,000 people, so call it 3,000 people. And everybody knows what's going on in town.
Everybody knows
else's
everybody
business.
else, yeah.
So, how many horses do you have?
You know, it's noted as, at one time they said there were more horses than people.
Yeah, that's why I asked
Yeah.
that.
Well, that was one of the reasons I moved to Plympton, because I knew it was a horse town and I have a horse.
Why did the people come originally here? What was why did they
Land.
Were they
Yeah.
farmers?
Yes, just about everybody was a farmer, and as Plymouth grew out, there was lots of land here. Parts of it are very fertile. We have some places where it was just flat bottom for hay. Hay was a big thing.
And when
Trees.
when did cranberries become popular?
I'd have to go back and look, but it was late 1800s.
I believe so,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing. And there's only, what'd you say, a little less than 3,000, including children. What do people do now?
In terms of
Work? Yeah, work. I know there's horses, but and
it's very much
cranberries.
a lot of it is it's a bedroom town.
Okay.
We also have a lot of professionals that have moved in that actually work out of their home. They're doing web design, etc. And we've seen the town change. When I came in 1970, it was very much a working person's town.
Working.
Trade,
Okay.
plumbers,
Blue collar.
electricians.
Okay. Blue collar. Okay.
And some of
And-
that still exists.
Yeah, over time it's changed now so that we've got probably a mix. Houses have got expensive like every place else, so it's not a town that, we don't see a lot of starter homes. First of all, we don't have space for them. So it's usually, if you're moving in town, it's your second or third home. If you have children, we have a great school, a Dennett school. Some people call it Dennett Academy because it's really well known and
Wonderful reputation.
really has. And again, being small, the
It's
classes are small. Teachers know all the kids in town.
That's really nice.
So,
That is.
it's
nice.
great. One of the things that Plympton is famous for is Deborah Sampson. She was actually the great-granddaughter of William Bradford. Okay, came over on the Mayflower. So there's a Mayflower history there. And originally the Bradfords had money, but over the course of the years, when she was born, the family was very poor. And though she was raised here, at some point the family felt they had to indenture her and have her go off to another family.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So she went to Middleborough and worked for a family there. And about this time, the Revolution War was starting to heat up, and she wanted to be part of it. And she decided that she would enlist in the army as a soldier, but hide her identity. And so she tried to enlist from Middleborough and was caught and sent back. She waited a while, 6 months, something like that, and then she went to another town and called herself Robert Sherlift and went into the service. And she spent 3 years as a soldier, was not found out until she was wounded. I think she actually came down with the disease. She had been wounded, but she wouldn't go to the hospital.
Of course not.
But she went to get this disease and went into the hospital, and that's when they found out she was a woman. And they promptly said, you can't be in the service anymore. She's now the state heroin, is that what they
I
call it?
believe so,
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
And there's a postage stamp
Yes, that we hope is coming. We haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
And she's on the town badge like the police department.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
We have
That's
a Deborah Sampson flag that we have at the townhouse. So it's kind of a, you know, it's
That's
kind
a
of
big, it is.
Yeah. She, after the war, she moved to Sharon. And if you go to Sharon, if you haven't been there,
Mm-hmm.
her grave is there. She married a fella, and Garnett was his name. So she became Mrs. Garnett, had children, raised them there, and died there and is buried there. So Sharon claims her, but we say, well, yeah, but she started here.
Mike Slawson is the librarian here in town, so could you tell us about this library?
Sure. So I've been here for just about 4 years now. It's a really special place, this library, for lots of reasons. One of the reasons I love it is because we have this side of the building that we're in right now, which is the old side of the building, as you can see with the beautiful columns behind us. And then we have the new side of the building over there. And there's a real contrast here, I think, especially since I've started and we started updating things with the old and the new. I think it's representative of libraries, because I think libraries they're always changing. We're always trying to move into the future and to keep things updated. But we also have a great respect for the past. So this is a special place. I know a lot of people in the town really care about this building, and they care about the library. So it's an honor to be the librarian in town.
I hear you do special things like pick books out, maybe even deliver some?
I do, yeah. We do all sorts of things here. We deliver
That's
books to
unusual.
our residents.
That's unusual.
It is, but I think in a small town like Plympton, where or a lot of the people that come in that door, I know by first name basis. They know me by first name basis, and the whole staff here. And being a small library, it's a little bit easier
Yes,
for us to provide
sure.
those type of services than it would be for a bigger library. But we do things like deliver books and pick up books, and we try to help out people in the community as much as we can. And it's another reason why I enjoy this job, is because I get to help people in the community.
Some of the things Mike has brought to the library is we catalog of seeds, the library of things.
Yeah, so we like I was saying a minute ago, we try to move the library into the future, and we try to keep things like technology updated. We have a 3D printer that the residents of town love using. We have a Cricut machine, which is a crafting machine that a lot of people like to use. We have virtual reality that kids and adults sometimes come
That's
in
fun
and use. So we'll be using that later, right? And I think as much as I love the historic part of this building, it's a special place. I think my favorite part of the building, we'll have to go check it out, is the children's room. We just redid the children's
did
room.
that too?
Yeah, about
Wow.
a year ago, and I'm very proud of it. The staff here really worked hard to make it what it is, and I'm proud of it, and I'd love to show it off to you guys. We have a library of things with all sorts of things that aren't books in there.
Yeah, well, that's what.
From toys to technology to games and things like that. So I always tell people libraries have been around for thousands of years because they change with the times. And so
They certainly are.
they're not
Yeah.
going anywhere.
No, they're not, and I think it's great.
All we need is a wood splitter and we're
There you go. Well, I know somebody that has one of the metal detectors that
Yep.
they loan out.
Yep.
I
We have
don't know
one of
whether you
those.
do
We
that.
do.
I think that's great. I think, wow.
It really is neat, because
It
it brings
really is.
in a crowd maybe that we wouldn't get.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And then they can pick a book up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're part of the Sales Library Network, and there's a number of library networks in Massachusetts that share books. So we're part of the Sales Network.
wonderful.
Okay. Great.
And another
Thank
thing
you.
I like about the library is on different Saturdays of the month, they'll have guest speakers, usually someone from the town that can give an update on what their department is doing and let the residents know what's going on.
That's nice.
It's an open forum, so you can ask questions, and I think it's made us a lot closer.
Oh, I'm sure it has. I'm sure.
I agree with that, and I think those type of programs, which have been facilitated by John here, Those programs go a long way to keeping residents informed in the town of what's happening, and I think that's part of the job of
And keeping it a
libraries.
community. I mean, a real tight community, which is
Yeah,
really
people
important.
like, the representative, the state representative has come and spoke. We're gonna have the new state senator coming.
Oh, yeah.
Dylan Fernandez, we're gonna invite you to come this summer or whenever you want this year and talk to our Sandy.